Hi, I'm Margie Smith, representing Holy Comforter Episcopal Church in Tallahassee. I'm interviewing today Doty Wenzel, who is the Director of Administration at the church, and we're looking at how things have changed during the pandemic and how the church has rallied to be able to meet the changing needs. So we're going to start with the very basics. Doty, can you tell people what your job description is, some of the tasks you do?
Well, I work for a church, so it pretty much changes every day, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's human. A church is human. Well, I'm parish administrator, office manager, a little bit of everything. I work directly with Father Jerry, the clergy, staff, the committees, commissions, what their needs are, and just making sure we take care of what we're doing with the church and taking care of the membership. So I do a little bit of everything. I work with the finance manager to process our payables and receivables, take care of, like I say, anything that the other groups might need within the church. So I do a little bit of everything.
You do, I see that. How have things changed with COVID-19? How has that impacted on your job, and what is new to you, and what have you had to kind of drop?
Well, it's certainly kicked it up a notch. We've had to kind of look at our direction of communication. That's certainly increased, whether it be electronically, doing, getting more information out to the membership. We've just produced a new Dove magazine to also bring the membership in and see what we've been doing. We worked together on the Dove magazine, and we thought it would be a small summer issue, right? And it's full blown. We have been so active and been doing things, continuing through this COVID-19 and adjusting, adapting, what are our needs to do. So it's kind of kicked up some of it. I concentrate on certainly the eDove. I produce it, and then we send out the weekly messages from Father Jerry and other things. So that sort of thing has kicked up the communication, and rightfully so.
In your particular area of responsibility, where have you looked for ideas? Because I'm sure that there must be some sharing of ideas with other people and other churches.
Well, very much so. In fact, certainly I looked to Father Jerry, the clergy, the rest of the staff for direction, committee chairs, etc. But I have a group of parish administrators in the diocese. We generally used to meet a couple of times a year, but they're a very good strength for me to ask and get feedback from when we do get together. Funny, every Sunday at 5, I have a Zoom meeting with my 1973 Episcopal high school classmates.
Oh, wow.
And so we discuss all the current events. We're from LA to Vermont to South in Florida and all across the country. And so we discuss the issues, and I get feedback. In fact, one of my classmates is on the journey to become a deacon. And so we talk about things, and I appreciate that a great deal.
Well, you partly answered my next question in that you turn to people from the past. But what have you drawn on other than that from your past strengths, your past jobs, whatever it may be?
Well, I started my career, my college degrees in mass communication, radio, TV, production work. I started out as a radio announcer, radio DJ, and then grew through college and post production work, radio, TV production work. And certainly I've had to research a topic, get to know it, know how to present it. Is it a publication? Is it radio? What is warranted for that format to give that information out? So I have drawn from that, and knowing electronics. I've enjoyed working with Fred and the other folks that do those things for the church. But my background is also in caregiving and caretaking. Mm-hmm. I have been a caretaker of property on boards and various things, property and all, but a caregiver of my mom for 9 years with Alzheimer's. And I was able to redirect my career into a home business. And she lived with us, and that made me develop the one thing that I lack, and everyone here will probably laugh, patience. So God delivered me a reason to be patient with my mom, and it was a beautiful time for us.
And you really have to be patient in church work because you deal with so many different types of people and unexpected things.
Church people are human.
They are.
A church is human, and everything that you know of that you have to deal with in your lives in general, or even manifested more so perhaps in a church because of the needs the membership has a need for us to be public, private, and social, but also spiritual. And so to do a job, to have to be a taskmaster sometimes, but also one that opens arms and tells someone, I love you, and God loves you. So all of those are things that I think that are good.
Well, now that we're speaking about the people of the church, what do you hear most from the people about what's bothering them through all this?
From the
And
church
especially,
people.
as it relates to ministry and church and outreach and not in general in the world, but
I think the clergy, the church, we've really jumped into this and knowing that we've got to keep those connections. And, you would think that would be part of the problem, not being connected to each other. I mean, I miss people coming in.
Yes.
I'm a hugger. I get energy from other people, exactly. Yeah. And so we're kind of like, Well, I miss people, but I haven't heard, anything really. I think people are thrilled. Every now and then I get someone saying, Father Jerry's too quiet on his messages. He needs to speak up. And it's like, we try to deal with it, So
yeah.
if that's the worst, then I think we're doing well. But I haven't heard. Now, I personally am upset that people aren't taking things as seriously. I'd like to see more people wearing their masks out and more people doing things that, but that's away from the church. Everyone here is cognizant of what we need to do, want us to do the right thing at the right time. So I feel
after the interview, we'll have the
I have my mask here as well. So,
so how is the church team working together to meet some of those needs? And I think this is probably our last question, a summary more or less of how you interact now. I'm sure it's quite different.
Well, initially, Father Jerry gave us all the option of working at home, distancing, working at home, and that's good. A lot of the staff, we've worked out schedules. The staff, they do both. They'll come in and work at home depending on what it is, and so scheduling folks to come in, do their thing. Finance manager comes at the beginning of the week, so by the end of the week we have signers and we get our checks out. Working with folks on when they want to come in and go, so we're not all on top of each other.
Yes.
So scheduling, when do you need to come in? What's your best hours? Working through the various electronic production we're doing, whether it be the morning prayers, Father Jerry's Wednesday message. So we try to work a schedule out, and I think it's been good. But the staff, the clergy, I can't speak enough about how they've jumped in and stepped it up. I mean, between the Children and Families Director, Julianne, she comes in on Thursdays and practices what she needs to do with the other teacher there to do the best they can for those kids, because it's a Zoom. They meet right before our church service does on Zoom, so you have to work all that out. Different people have seen the need, and they've jumped in and they've accomplished that. It really has been amazing. People have come in and say, okay, we need to do this to get it out better. We need to do this. And they're recognizing the need and they're meeting that need. And I'm just so impressed with the folks here. I really am. I always brag on our church with the other parish administrators, I do. And with the bishop's office, that we're the best. But really, when we talk and they say, wow, you've got people that come in and do that. It's like,
It is an amazing church.
We got linen ladies, we got the altar guild people, we got people coming in, we got changing candles, we got this. You know, it's beautiful.
Gardeners.
The gardeners, yes, and the food pantry ministry. I mean, there have been people who've jumped in to where maybe they weren't involved at all before, but they see that need, they see what can be done, and so I'm real impressed with everyone that's here. And
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now. I wondered if there's a little story, and if you can't remember one, that's fine. But if there's a little story that you can recall that shows how different things are. Maybe somebody's had a very strange Zoom conference or something.
Well, I missed the Zoom conference this Tuesday staff meeting because we changed the time on it. But I see what the others are doing, and they're doing it independently, but together. I can't think of anything in particular, but
Next interview we'll have a good one.
that sounds good. But yesterday, like talking about what typical day in the church, I came in yesterday and staff meeting, and then we had someone pressure washing, and they accidentally hit the fire alarm. So for about a half an hour, we had the fire, we had the lights, camera action, and then of course the police came later, or the firemen came later. But every day's a new day.
It is.
Every day is a different day, and that's good. I'm glad I'm flexible enough. I may not have as much patience, but I've learned flexibility. I do know that. So don't know of any story per se, but it's every day. Every day is unique and really a good day here.
Well, thank you, Doty. We're glad to have you in that position and knowing things are taken care of.